Hi, it's Sandy Wyllie. Welcome to my mental health channel, You Got This, where I wipe away the stigma of mental illness by talking about my own personal experiences and struggles, having borderline personality disorder for almost 20 years as a patient. I talk about narcissism, schizophrenia, therapies, the different types of therapies. I try to inspire and encourage, so this is inspirational too. But I only come on as a former patient. I cannot diagnose you. I do not hold a degree in psychology. I am not a licensed therapist. So I can only give you my personal experiences. I cannot give you any professional opinions. The only thing I ask in return of you is to please be kind. Be kind to me. Be kind to others in the comments below. And please be kind to other YouTubers out there, okay? I know a lot of people want to defend me, but defending me should not mean that you're unkind to other YouTubers. Get my drift there? If you like what you see, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. And if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button below. Now, let's dive right into it. You all know I have borderline personality disorder, and I've done many, many videos about that. So today's topic on that is, does it get better as you get older? Since I've had this disorder from the beginning of time, even when I didn't know I had this disorder, I didn't really, I was like living in a cave or living in a closet, you know. I didn't even know my father had schizophrenia. I knew there was something wrong with my dad, but nobody told me the label that he had schizophrenia. Nobody told me my mother was narcissistic. She was just mean. You know, nobody told me I had borderline personality disorder. I was just too emotional, too much to handle. So I didn't know about any of this till I was almost 40. Till I was almost 40, I didn't even know what I had or my dad had or anything. So I'm a very, very, very late bloomer. So, but anyway, it doesn't mean that I didn't live with this disorder. I just didn't know what was wrong with me, you know. I'm very happy to have found out what was wrong with me. Therapy never helped me. It only hindered me because I was, you know, sexually assaulted by several psychologists. You can watch the other videos. I'm not going to get into that here. I was sexually abused for 2 years by one psychologist. Physically abused, verbally, emotionally, you name it. So therapy never helped me. But now, here's this video. The question is, does it get better as we get older? And I'm only going to talk from my personal experience. So here's the answer for me. This doesn't mean it covers everyone else. The answer for me is it doesn't get better. But the caveat here is it doesn't get worse. This is for me now. If you're borderline, you can comment about yourself. All right, I'm not saying this is, you know, for you know, this covers everyone, that no one's going to get better or no one's going to get worse. This is just my channel. This is just my personal experience. For me, I'm 58. I've had this condition, this personality disorder, all my life. It has not gotten any better, but it has not gotten any worse, and I'll explain that in detail. What I mean by it has not gotten any worse is there's not a cookie cutter definition for every single borderline. You know, I am different from the next borderline who's different from the next borderline. Okay? A lot of borderlines self-harm. A lot of borderlines are suicidal. A lot of borderlines are cutters. If you know anything about the disorder, or you have the disorder, or you have those symptoms of the disorder. Now, I never was suicidal. I never was a cutter. I never had those symptoms. So what I'm telling you is, for me, I never developed those symptoms. So it never got worse. It never got to the point where I started self-harming or had suicide ideation. I never originally had it, and it didn't grow into that. It didn't get worse for me. I can only speak for myself. So in that respect, the symptoms did not get worse. What I started out with, those symptoms, I still have those symptoms, okay? Those symptoms did not get better, but they did not become worse. I did not start self-harming. I did start to drink heavy alcohol, but that's when I was sexually raped by my psychologist. So I was re-traumatized. Then when my son was beaten and tortured during COVID and I couldn't even see him, I was, drinking to the point where it was very dangerous. But that was, isolated incidences, okay? That wasn't, that's because of what, I was under severe trauma, having constant panic attacks, insomnia. I couldn't function. Because, if something happens to anyone in their life, okay, you don't have to be borderline. If something devastating happens in your life, and you find it hard to cope, you might do things or turn to things that you normally wouldn't have. Okay, you don't have to have borderline personality disorder. You see what I'm saying? So during those times, I turned into an alcoholic, but that was because I was traumatized, and I don't think that had anything to do with my borderline personality disorder. Okay, I think it was separate from it. You see what I'm saying? But I'm trying to live every day of my life with it. All right? All my life I've tried to live with it. And the best way for me to live with it is to avoid the triggers. Avoid the triggers. So I try to, like I said in other videos, I stay away from people. I don't have any friends because, and I've mentioned in other videos recently what's happened when I try to make friends and how I got triggered. Watch that video about the nasty YouTuber who I went to her house, and it's on the list. Watch that and you'll learn. I mean, I've tried very hard, to fit in, but I don't fit in, and I'm never gonna fit in. Because I fit out. I don't fit in. I fit out. So, all I can say is, I've learned to live with it, I haven't got worse, and I haven't got better. But I think that I learned to live with it better, manage it better. That's it. I've learned to manage it better the older now I am. I've learned to manage it better, because I'm more aware of my triggers. So I can avoid the people, situations that bring on the triggers, So by avoiding those triggers, and you'll learn what your triggers are eventually, right? Just from, living your life. You'll know, well, I think I'll stay away from this situation because it's going to start triggering me. Or I'll avoid these people because they're going to start triggering me. And if you avoid those triggers, you can learn to live with this, condition and have a more productive life because you're more aware, you're more self-aware now than you were. The older you get, you become more self-aware of all your responses in the past, So I think I've learned to live with it. Manage it. I've learned to manage it. There's that word. I've learned to manage my borderline personality much better than I did when I was younger. but it's not better, okay? My symptoms aren't better. It hasn't gone away. I'm very much a borderline. I very much respond as a borderline, but the difference is in the way I manage it. Now, I know what sets me off. I know my triggers. I know to stay away from people and situations that are going to trigger me. And so by doing that, it's helped me to live with this condition. It's helped me to live a more productive life with this condition. So for me, you know, it hasn't gotten better, but it hasn't gotten worse. And I've learned to manage it by, you know, by learning from my past, by learning what my triggers were, by learning to avoid those situations and people. You can't always avoid certain people and certain situations. I mean, because that's life, right? But I'm more cautious now, I think. I'm much more cautious, you know, of what and I've learned boundaries too. There's another thing I learned. Before I had no boundaries, and now I've learned boundaries. I let people walk all over me before. If you watch the other videos, like those psychologists, why did they hurt me? Because I had no boundaries. I let people walk all over me. So now I have boundaries, very, very high boundaries. And now people need to respect me, okay? And if they don't respect me, then I have no use for them. They're out of my life, okay? I don't take any negativity from anyone, all right? I don't take any judgments. I don't take any criticisms. I take no negativity. So I'm not going to allow anyone into my life like I did before, you know. You have to earn it, okay, if you want to be in my life. You have to earn it. Because I've learned from the past what's happened when I didn't have the boundaries, when I let just anyone in my life. They brought the borderline out in me. You know, it's true. Maybe I do attract the wrong type of people. And I think I did a video on that too, how I keep attracting narcissistic people into my life. But now I'm more sharper, you know. I'm aware of that, you know, I do attract the wrong people. And I look out for that. And so I don't give in to that. So, you know what? It's getting that label on you isn't the end of the world, okay? Maybe some of you will get better. Maybe a lot of you will get better. But for those other people, okay, you can learn to manage your symptoms. I did, and if I can do it, you can do it too. You can learn to manage your symptoms and be able to live with this and have a productive, happy life. You can. Okay, because I can, you know, I'm having a happy, productive life, managing my symptoms, and so can you. So, there you go, you know. It's not a death sentence to have this, believe me, it's not. And I think I'm lovable, I feel productive, I'm doing my mental health channel to help people. I've written books about my personal experiences. They're available on Amazon, the links are below. So I feel productive. I feel useful for doing what I do, and I'm gonna keep doing it and keep managing my symptoms as best I can, one day at a time. All right, till next time, take care.